Hey everyone, this is Jordan, the founder over at Going Direct. If you are actively working on in some aspect how we can make commerce more human and how do we get people more connected to the products that we buy and changing our systems of production to enable this, please reach out, give us a like, a subscribe, share this with someone you know that is working on any one of these issues. We'd love to connect with you and share more about what we're doing and learn more about what you're doing. Going direct is about one simple thing, making commerce more human. We want to help people become more connected to the things that they buy in their lives. Now, if we want to do this and to do this with any type of scale, the first step is actually creating systems that allow us to produce and make products closer to where they're being consumed. Now, here's the thing. This is much more difficult than it sounds. And the reason why is how markets work and how consumers behave. Because at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, consumers want three things. They want better products, lower prices, and convenience. So if we want to increase this amount of direct exchange into our lives, we have to create a more compelling offer to the consumer than the likes of Amazon, Shine, or Temu. But here's why we're excited. The next 30 years is going to be all about changing the way that we make stuff. We believe we're at the very beginning of a fundamental change in our systems of production, going from a large, centralized, dirty model to a much more distributed, decentralized, clean one. And the reason for this is a variety of factors that are coming together that are political, social, economic, and technological that we'll be talking about later in the video. But the basic premise is this: for the first time ever, machines can talk to one another. So why is the concept of machines being able to talk to one another such a big deal? Well, for me, the light bulb went off about 5 years ago after I watched a lecture titled The Third Industrial Revolution by Jeremy Rifkin that really opened my eyes to where we're going as a society and really has served as the foundation for how I view the world and what we're doing at Going Direct. So what was the Third Industrial Revolution lecture all about? The main premise is this. Rifkin explains that there's been 7 major economic revolutions over the course of human history, and all of them have one thing in common, and that is 3 technologies come together that fundamentally changes society and our consciousness. And those 3 technologies are a new form of communication, a new form of power, and a new form of transportation. So when those 3 things come together, it changes the way that we manage power and move economic life. Now, the thing that I found most profound about just that framework is this. What that actually does is it changes and reorients how humans interact with the world and what's within our consciousness. Now we're going to break down how Rifkin explains society and human consciousness has changed over the last several economic revolutions and how we've gone from trusting people only that we're related to by blood all the way to trusting and caring about people all across the world. Rifkin starts his analysis when society was organized around foragers and hunters. And he defines this time period for humans as the mythological consciousness, which means humans only trusted and empathized with others that they were related to by blood or who were within their tribe. And this was often no more than 500 people. The next time period was the Axial Age from 800 BC to 100 AD, and this is what Rifkin explains as the theological consciousness. And what he means by that, it was during this time when several world religions were created. And what that did was that made humans empathize and identify with people beyond those who were related to them by blood and within their tribe. And it extended out to fictional families with religious affiliation. And then this is where the whole term was coined, do unto others as you would have others do unto you. Now let's fast forward to the 19th century in the First Industrial Revolution that Rifkin characterizes the time that society shifted towards an ideological consciousness. So what did he actually mean by that? What he meant by that was during the 19th century, 3 technologies came together that created the First Industrial Revolution. The new form of communication was the printing press and newspapers. The new form of energy was coal. And the new form of transportation was the train. And what happened was the coal-powered steam engine allowed trade to expand from your local town to across entire nations. And so what happened was humans' relationships and societal structure extended from beyond the local community to national borders. And so what that created was what is known as the national identity. Nations started to create their own historical narrative with holidays and celebrations. And so everyone identified themselves by their nation. So if you're from America, you're American. If you're from France, you're French, and so on. Next came the 20th century and the Second Industrial Revolution, a time that Rifkin coined where human consciousness transitioned to a psychological consciousness. Now, what does that actually mean? Let's break it down. So during the 20th century, we had three new technologies come together once again that fundamentally changed society and economic life. The new form of communication was centralized electricity that brought us the telephone, radio, and TV. The new source of energy was oil. And the new mode of transport was the internal combustion engine for cars, planes, boats, and trucks. All three of these things came together to birth global trade. So what that did was that actually extended human relationships and social trust beyond political boundaries and beyond nation states to across the globe. So our trust with one another extended beyond to other like-minded people across the world. Enough with the history lesson. Let's get to the fun part. 21st century and the third industrial revolution. Rifkin refers to this time as the time of the biosphere consciousness. So what does he mean by that? Well, we have three technologies converging once again. We have our new form of communication being the internet. We are now instantly connected with everyone around the globe. The second, the new form of energy being renewables, wind, solar, fusion. And third, the new form of transport being autonomous vehicles. So all of these are coming together and converging, but what they're doing is they're sitting on top of what he refers to as a central nervous system, which is the Internet of Things and artificial intelligence. So what this allows for is machines can now speak to one another, and it is this setup to have a decentralized, distributed industrial revolution. And what that does to our consciousness as humans is now that we're all connected to one another globally, we have a free flow of information thanks to the internet, is now our consciousness expands beyond just people we have associational ties across countries to everyone around the globe. Our home is the planet, so that's going to be the most important thing for society to protect, and what they associate with is the planet. Okay, so you're probably thinking, what is this guy talking about? Foragers and consciousness and all these things coming together. What does this have to do with going direct? I'm confused. Well, let me bring it all together for you. You might recall at the beginning of the video, I said the whole purpose of what we're doing is to help make commerce more human and that we want to get people more connected to the products that we consume. The only way we're going to be able to do this and to do this at scale is we actually have to start producing the products closer to where they're being consumed. So that means we have to completely reorient our systems of production from these large centralized systems to a much more decentralized distributed model. And what gets us excited is we actually think that we're at the very beginning of these technologies coming together to actually enable this era of more distributed, decentralized production. We're going to go much more into detail into each one of these concepts in future videos, and the goal is to help small businesses, entrepreneurs, other folks creating in this space, different tools, tips, tricks, information to help them go direct and create a much more deeper connection between the consumer and the producer.